So earlier, when you were speaking about immigration and stuff like that, you were saying immigrants have wrecked our country.
No, I didn't say that.
You said wrecked.
No, I said that because of immigration, our communities have been wrecked.
Okay, so how does that correlate? Because when the British Empire, we were going around kind of, I think it's a third of the world. Yeah, that's us in a foreign country. Like, if you're saying they've wrecked communities, surely you could say the same about Africa.
Yeah, so I understand your question. So the reason I say that it's wrecked, or if you don't want to use the word wrecked, let's just say like disrupted or hurt.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it really basic. So actually I'm going to use Will, if that's right, as an example. So my mate, he lives in, which is North London. Am I supposed to say that? Sorry, we'll leave it out. Yeah. So he lives in North London, and he's grown up there since he was a young lad, and he's watched his streets and his community, because of the influx of mass migration, go from a place that is loved and respected by locals to a place that is abused and disrespected, and there's a complete lack of community. They don't know all of their neighbours, and there is not an invested interest in supporting a land which is theirs, because they're not interested in it. So when I say wrecked, that's not because I'm racist and I have an issue with the colour of one's skin, nothing like that. I just feel like, if you ask me, I take care of my home because this is my home and this is my land. Whereas if I was to go somewhere else, I'm not going to have anywhere near amount of interest in taking care of my home. So when I say that, it's got nothing to do with someone's race, their creed, or anything like that. It's purely to do with, we've got to put British community at the heart of our nation.
Well, I'd say I do understand what you're saying, but like you could equally say the same. So when obviously the British Empire is very beneficial for England.
In many ways, yeah, but also for other countries.
Also, there's a lot of human cost at that, and I think all you're talking about, I mean, government along here, I don't think you're considering much of the human cost. I mean, there's a big facade that people come here to steal and take our taxes, but I think they're mainly just looking for a better life.
No, it's not true. So I'm not going to say it's not true because that's not fair, but my opinion is it's not true. I'll give you an example. So I worked in hospitality for a decent amount of time. I worked with about 30 Bangladeshi migrants on average, and all of them went over to Italy before we came out of the European Union, because it's much easier to get a European passport in Italy than most countries. And then they'd come over to England for one reason, to get work and to get money, not to live for a better life. Because they love their country, they love Bangladesh, trust me, they're very, very proud of their culture. And they then bring their family over on their passport and say, I'm bringing my family over. They'd be given a house majority paid for in London. They'd also be given benefits to an extent, and they'd work 22 hours a week, no more, because if they worked any more than that, they wouldn't be given benefits by the government. Yeah. And then furthermore, they'd work another job for cash off the record. So they'd pull in a full-time income. Yeah. They'd get a house, and they'd get to send money back to Bangladesh to their family. Yeah. That was 30 people on average that I worked with. That's very worrying. I can guarantee if you took away from these migrants, they would go back to Bangladesh, because they're not here to look for a better life. That money, in the majority, gets sent back to Bangladesh because they're coming in because they know they can abuse and use our system. And it's not fair. I spoke before all you guys came, I spoke to a veteran who is just broken because he's just here like, why am I on the streets when there are loads of people in social housing that aren't even from my country, and I fought for my country? Why is that? Why are we not putting our people first? That's what I want to know.
Well, our people. No, I understand that.
Sorry?
Well, if you say our people, your people,
what is our people?
Are you the problem? Why the Near East and all of that?
Not at all, man.
I'll just say.
I love my people. Of course I do.
I'll just say.
Have a good day.
I do agree. Illegal immigration is a current problem.
Yeah.
But I think that's only kind of like taxpayer money is being taken from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think, just with kind of numbers and statistics, don't really consider kind of better lives. Like my family were immigrants to this country.
Where were they from, if you don't know? Italy. Oh, yeah, there you go.
And I just think, like, they came here to work.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a bit inconsiderate to say all immigrants or majority of immigrants are coming here to abuse our system.
No, I'm not saying all. I'm just saying did I say the majority?
Yeah.
I can't say that for fact. I don't feel comfortable going, 100%, the majority of all. I don't think that's fair. But they're not here to abuse it. Use it, though, definitely. all immigrants are here to use our system.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I just think overall, yeah, illegal immigration is obviously not beneficial for England. I mean,
Legal immigration.
legal immigration is very beneficial.
I disagree with that.
You disagree? Our NHS is built on legal immigration.
Yeah, fine. So the reason I disagree with that is because I'll give you a really good example. If I lived on a street and there were 10 houses, on this street, and 5 people were from Italy and 5 people from England, and we wanted to vote as to when we put the bins out.
Yeah.
And 5 immigrants turn around and say we should put the bins out on Tuesday, and then 5 Englishmen say we should put the bins out on Wednesday. 5 people who are in our country that don't have a right to this land because they are not English, okay, suddenly cancel out 5 English people's votes. They take 5 houses from English people, and they take our resources, our food, and our money, and some of them social housing and stuff. So for every 1 migrant that comes over here, legal or illegal, 1 Englishman is disenfranchised and has something taken away from them.
Yeah. Well,
That's my
obviously we're in society, we're in public all day, every day, and
Respect.
a lot of kind of hard-working jobs I just feel are taken by migrants, and I think it's unfair to say.
Why not? So Zach Polanski, didn't he recently say, that he basically doesn't want to wipe people's bottoms, so we should get migrants to do it?
I personally don't agree with Zach Blunt.
Oh no, I'm not saying you do, but I'm just saying, why not? I know a lot of English people that'd be very happy to have a job wiping people's bottoms. I don't think it's a problem. I think that's actually a very noble and charitable thing to do. Why should we take that opportunity away?
Yeah,
from
well, I just think, I mean, obviously the job is there for English people, but ultimately, the majority of hospitals, that is a working for the public, working for English people. They're coming here and they're doing a
I don't deny they've contributed. Like you're right. A huge amount of the NHS are migrants. I don't deny. Obviously, I'm not lying. You're not lying when you say that they're contributing good things to the country. But we're at a point now where cumulative migration is at 10 million.
Yeah,
10 million
You
people.
said earlier, I don't know if my neighbour can speak English. Yeah, does
No, they
that
can't.
matter? Does that matter when they're helping you in a hospital?
Absolutely, it matters because that's our cultural identity, man.